guys are all just like really misogynistic.
How do you define misogyny?
Oh yeah. I've seen this.
What? How do you,
Women.
I'm just asking how you define misogyny.
Crying. That's how.
Can I go?
Are you okay? Like, do you want you want to go as in leave?
Oh, I hate women so much, it's unreal.
First point, fucking generic TikTok horror movie music. What the hell is even that? Second point, fucking whatever podcast. Just promote your OnlyFans and go, please.
That's all they're there to do. That's all they're there to do anyway. That's all these horrors that they get on this show is just to like promote their. That's what they even say. They're there to promote their fucking OnlyFans. Then go. Goodbye, bitch. If anyone's willing to, Jesus Christ, who's paying for this bitch's OnlyFans? I mean, fucking A. Look, I'm not saying she's ugly. Just like, what the fuck's your makeup game about? Holy shit. That nose ring too. They pull you on that, huh?
I agree. She's ugly.
I'm sorry. I'm getting spicy. I'm getting mad because I can't stand women so much.
So I'm glad that I have two women in the host room to do the misogyny for me. Now I can I can talk a bit less harshly about it, though I mostly agree.
Yeah, Uzalu, be less misogynistic. No one will be more misogynistic than another woman.
Exactly.
It's not
We're
because
not
I'm
being mean
jealous
to
of
women.
her.
We're just passing the Bechdel test.
Yes. Look, it's not because I'm jealous. Oh my, because that's what they always say. It's like, oh, you're just jealous. Oh, fuck me. Not
Aiden, you're
even
pick
a
me,
little
even
bit.
though you're married.
Yeah, I know. Oh, what a pick. Oh no. Oh, I'd rather be dead. I'd rather be a fucking lich than this bitch. Are you out of your fucking mind? Holy shit.
8-bit, I take it that you also are feeling a welling sense of hatred for this specimen as well. So there's many things one could say about this, but the one thing I wanted to say is that I think she had never been challenged when saying this. When saying, isn't that kind of misogynistic? She'd always just got, I'm so sorry, please please don't report me. She had never experienced the slightest bit of pushback. When she was just asked, what do you mean by that? It's just such a shock to the system.
She doesn't know what she means.
That she broke down emotionally.
Because she doesn't know what she means. Because she doesn't know what she thinks.
She probably doesn't.
She's just repeating.
Anything that makes her feel unhappy and has something to do with women, that's misogyny. And with the implication that you shouldn't say it under threat of social ostracization. Never, I suspect, had she been challenged even the slightest bit. And all it took was for someone to say, what do you mean by that? And she just breaks down.
She can't even explain her ideology even a little bit. Not even a little bit can't explain it. That's like, it's not just her, though. This is endemic.
She's clearly not, shall we say, an intellectual. She's clearly not a thinker. She's probably a 90 IQ whore at best. So she was never going to be able to explain it.
That's very generous of you.
Yes,
very generous of you, Uzalu.
I appreciate that. I'm a charitable man by default. She was never going to be able to actually explain it. But at least to be able to say, like, it's mean to women. But no, it wasn't that she couldn't explain it. It was that she was in shock because no one had ever done anything other than complete submission. The idea that someone
She's
just
a product of the university system.
Submit immediately and just ask a question.
She hasn't.
A neutral reaction. That was all it took.
I guarantee she has a bachelor's degree in something.
Probably.
And yet she's never been asked her entire fucking life to explain her own ideology, to explain anything. And the fact that the moment she's asked to explain the most basic thing, she's in tears. Because that's what she's also been taught, is that, you come across something that you don't like, just cry. Do you know this too? I thought about that major histocompatibility complex thing earlier. Do you know something that's really fucked up? Women's tears cause men to rage. If you cry on a man, if a woman cries on a man in skin-to-skin contact, it causes him to become incredibly defensive and protective. Women's tears have actual physiological changes to male biological function. Yep. And that's what she's used to. She's like, my tears will cause men to defend me. But that's not the case on the internet, bitch. You can do that on men in real life, not on the internet. Dumb whore. Sorry. It's true.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Fuck off.
I think well done, Aiden. That's a big step for you. I think everything you just said is true. But I just want to emphasize, I think this was shock. Because this is the first time she received anything other than a totally submissive reaction. And that in itself indicates a level of fragility in this kind of person that I knew they were fragile, but that is a new low I didn't expect.
See, you think it's shock. I think there is another potential here.
Okay.
I have seen like this type of woman, because obviously I interact with a lot of this type because I'm a fucking uni student. This type of woman, when you like criticize them on one of their like holy gospels, so like the feminism or the fucking the intersectionality, that whole shit. You question them on it, and it's not that they're like they're offended that you even have the question. Like, it might be a bit of shock, but it's not just the shock that you dare to like say anything against me. It's they've genuinely never met a person, like someone they could talk to who how do I say this? Who doesn't just have the narrative that they assume everyone else has. I've probably said that very poorly, but
no, I understand.
A lot of the women I know are like at uni and stuff. They have this idea that everyone who is in any kind of situation that they would be in, so anyone they would meet in real life who is, you know, similar to them, so doing a similar course, like a uni-educated person, would have the same worldview they do of, oh, I believe what I see in the Instagram infographics. I repost all the BLM shit. I have a Stop Asian Hate thing on my highlight on my Instagram account. They assume you have the sort of default social media Zoomer woman positions on everything.
Yeah.
And when confronted with the possibility that you don't have that, in their mind they sort of shift you from one category, which is person that is like me, to like
subhuman
evil Twitter right winger. Yeah.
Yep,
so
I agree. That's a good point.
And they don't have the no much.
It goes from a safe space to an invaded space as soon as they realize you're like that.
They have a schema, right? They're existing within the schema, and they don't understand how to work outside of the schema. So they don't have. So schema is like a bunch of like programmed sort of pseudo-psychological reactions to things. How you should react to this thing based on this thing. It's a flow chart essentially of how the brain works through processes.
Sure.
She has no schema because it's outside of her.
Completely outside of her experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, she has never encountered this, and like
no one's ever told her no.
Yeah, it's what I said, and also what Motch said. I think they're both good points combining. She's never encountered this, and it's something that she is used to believing is impossible within her realm, and she will treat it as an invasion if it happens, and all that shit together. Exactly, I think we're all correct on this. Add that together, and it just creates a shock effect. And I think that's what happened there. But yeah, it's tragic. But again, to bring it back to the previous point, silver lining on all this shit, do you think this person is going to form a healthy family that will produce another healthy family in the next generation?
No, she's going to have 4 kids from 4 different dads and live off of all the money she makes from them.
She may be
she won't make
wealthy.
A lot of money because they're they're all going to be black guys probably, but whatever.
She may be wealthy from the OnlyFans. She may have a bunch of half black children, but they are not going to form an effective family unit for the next generation. And so that'll be the last generation. Her genetics are being deselected live.
Yeah. I hope so. I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, because like, I mean, I probably can't reproduce, so like that's my own issue. But like, I really want women who are able to lock that shit down if you can, okay? You know? Lock that shit down. Because otherwise it's these bitches.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do to kids? You know what they're going to do to kids. They're going to make them all trans. And by that I mean they're going to make them trans because of social clout. That's all this transgender shit in kids is about. Is, well, I'm a mom now and I'm not getting any attention. Well, how do I get attention? My kid's trans. That's how they do it. That's the new way of doing it. It's been that way for like 5-6 years now.
I mean, they're sacrificing
the transition of Munchausen's by proxy, being the big thing, being oh, my kid actually has all of these phobias or all of these allergies. No, my kid has actually all of these genders.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
really it. In the 90s, it was my kids have all these allergies. They're very, very special. And now with social media, it's been exacerbated by 10,000 degrees.
And then Achilles says, sorry for sounding like a simp, but I see these women as also victims of the culture and of the folly of boomer parenting. If the culture war, by that logic, you could say everyone is, to be honest. And so
stop
collectively,
being retarded, then.
if you assess this on a collective level, no one is individually responsible. It's just all patterns that have existed since the dawn of time. But if you analyze it on an individual level, fuck yes, they're responsible. Even though they are the product of their upbringing, so is everyone. And still we blame people for their flaws because that will make them improve their flaws or deselect them through stress. So
I don't believe that shit.
I get what you're saying, Achilles. I'm not taking what you're saying as an attempt to evade them from responsibility, because people have used that anti-nuance argument against me as well before. It's not reasonable. But your case, while it does describe the causes for why this is happening to people on a collective level, that part is useful. It's not the way you should approach the situation in terms of how you deal with them. Like you say, you're sounding like a simp. It's not about sympathy for the people the way you're saying it. You would be describing a collective pattern. That's fine. So don't even prime us to think that you're trying to evade them from responsibility by saying sorry to sound like a simp. Like, this was caused by an unhealthy culture and boomer parenting, along with other things. I think that's the correct thing, and we would agree on that, I think. He says, if the culture war is ever won, I think we should attempt to reconcile and make them see that they have been misled about what makes women happy and what women are supposed to pursue in life. It's a nice idea, but as we've discussed already in the show, people don't change their minds. Trauma causes people to change their minds, and I think the reason for that is because, it's reached a point where it's physically untenable to have this. Either you have to change, or it's about energy efficiency, but if someone's about to die, then at least evolution gives them a chance. Well, forcibly change this thing, because it clearly is so not workable that you have to change. So that's why I think trauma can change minds. But other than that, almost nothing can. No. Just like with politics, it's not about changing the minds of the people in power. It's about changing which people are in power. And even if you have the same institutions, the same groups, the same, influences, if you have different people in them, like the MAGA wing of the Republican Party, it makes a huge difference. And that is how you change things. I'm sorry to say it, but quite a lot of people who have been victims of the current social contagion and propaganda veil are not going to recover.
I don't know what they're going to do, to be honest, because this is not tenable societally. But women like this are dead ends. And honestly, this is why I think we will win, right? I mean, very broadly. Why will the conservatives win? The conservatives have children. The conservatives get involved in real relationships and form families. The left has abandoned all of these ideas. The only way the left is able to affect children is through inculcation and indoctrination. That's why they're obsessed with it. Because they're like, oh shit, we don't have children. So we need to have your children. That's their entire paradigm. We don't have children, so we will have your children. If that gets removed, then they're fucked.
There's a milder form of that process, of that pattern, which is normal and evolutionarily healthy, because you need some degree of random fluctuation in a species, some degree of trying random new things, even if they're terrible ideas. But it's gone too far today, and it's being artificially amplified by evil people who I suspect know that what they're doing is harmful to the societies they're doing it to, you know, if you go high enough up.
I actually don't think they know it's harmful. I think that they think it's good.
It depends on the level we're talking about. At the very highest level, the people who are driving this, ultimately, I think they know.
Oh,
but
they know.
Almost every other level, like, I'm not claiming it's a massive global conspiracy. You would only need maybe 100 people in really key positions of power, all on the exact same page, to do something like this. But even then, they wouldn't need to necessarily be aware of it. These things happen evolutionarily because of mutual self-interest.
But this woman, for example, Uzalu, she thinks what she's doing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
But
she's absolutely convinced of that. Yeah.
She's bottom of the stack in terms of the knowledge of this stuff. I'm talking about people like Soros.
Can you even imagine being like a woman who's like this mid? And I'm saying this as a mid woman myself, but like, what the fuck? And being that kind of crazy self-absorbed.
Yeah, like, you enter the world with probably decent social intelligence, but otherwise 85 to 90 IQ and not great looks, but you're really drawn towards controlling social situations and pop ideology. God, it's not a good hand, is it? Not a good hand.
She also could be way hotter if she like just did her makeup okay and didn't intentionally make herself look ugly.
I don't know. I think
the nose ring, wear some lipstick, wear a decent outfit. Speaking
as a man on this, obviously not an expert, I am kind of I'm a lot less interested in the over made up look, and I think if she just went for something plainer, she'd look a lot better.
Do your hair in a way that's not so gross. Also, like, her hair looks greasy. She doesn't have any lipstick on. She has a
fucking five head.
Horrific.
She has dressed and styled herself as a whore.
To be ugly. She's styled herself to be ugly.
She's a cheap plastic whore is what she looks like. It looks like she was going for cheap plastic whore.
Yeah, she's like a 5 who could be a 7 or an 8 if she just did something to like not intentionally. Is a 5 nice? I don't know. I think she's actually probably like a 3 here, but she could be a 7 or an 8 if she just didn't make herself intentionally look ugly. But she's made herself intentionally look ugly because it's part of her fucking ideology, which is insane.